two people are truly meant to be together, there is one clear pattern that always shows up. Many people grow up believing that destiny is easy, that it feels like instant happiness, like a fairy tale where two people meet and everything simply fits perfectly. They imagine life becoming smoother, problems disappearing, and love arriving without struggle. But real destiny never comes in that perfect way. True destiny begins with disruption, with chaos, with situations that feel difficult to handle. The universe does not gently place love into your life. It first tests you, breaks your illusions, reshapes your identity, and forces you to grow alone before any real union can happen. This is the pattern that always appears. Welcome to Never Give Up. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe, press the bell icon, and select all notifications because every message here can shift your thinking and change your mindset. Destined love does not begin with comfort or calm feelings. It starts with recognition, a strong and sometimes confusing awareness. The first sign that someone is meant for you is not peace or certainty. It is a strange inner reaction that you cannot easily explain. You meet them and something inside you reacts before your mind understands what is happening. It feels like something in you is being seen completely, and at the same time disturbed deeply because destiny often shakes your inner world. When you encounter someone who is meant for you, it rarely feels peaceful at first. You may not feel safe, and certainty may feel far away. But this discomfort is often exactly what destiny looks like. It feels unsettling, not because the person is wrong, but because they reflect parts of you that you have hidden, avoided, or denied. These experiences force you to face your fears, insecurities, and emotional patterns that block real connection. Many people confuse love with calmness and stability. But destiny often arrives like a storm, shaking you and leaving you confused, showing that growth must come before union. One of the most confusing parts of destined relationships is why they often do not stay together in the beginning. Life usually separates them, not as punishment, but as necessity. Separation has purpose. It happens because one or both people still carry emotional wounds that are not healed. One may fear vulnerability, another may struggle with self-worth. Sometimes love is given from fear instead of wholeness. Even with good intentions, unfinished people can hurt each other. The universe steps in with a simple message: not yet. It waits for growth, self-awareness, and emotional maturity before allowing true union. Destined love is patient, powerful, and transformative. It demands that you face yourself without escape or distraction. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt becomes part of preparation. The universe pulls people apart to show what they truly need and to teach them how to love without dependence or fear. When the right time comes, things begin to align, but only after each person has become strong enough to hold that love fully. This is the hidden rule of destiny. It shapes, tests, and strengthens before it gives anything in return, ensuring that the connection is meaningful and lasting, not temporary. True destiny is never instant happiness. It is a process that includes recognition, confusion, separation, and self-growth. When you feel unsettled by someone, or when life pulls you away from them, it is important not to panic. It may simply mean that growth is happening. It is preparing you for a kind of love that is worth waiting for, a love that transforms you instead of just comforting you. If two people are truly meant for each other, life eventually brings them back together, but only after both have changed. The pain of separation is not a mistake. It is part of the process. When destined people are pulled apart, the pain feels different from normal heartbreak. It is not only sadness, it feels like something essential is missing. You do not just miss the person, you feel incomplete, as if part of your identity is gone. This is because these connections are tied to growth and emotional evolution, not comfort or ego. Losing them forces you to face your fears, insecurities, emotional wounds, and patterns that have kept you stuck. The pain reaches deep. It reveals fear of abandonment, need for validation, and habits of giving too much without boundaries. This is not punishment, it is awareness. Pain is used as a tool to wake you up, to help you see yourself clearly, and to confront the patterns that block deeper connection. Destined love is not soft or easy, it is transformative. Even after separation, even without contact, even when logic says to move on, something inside you begins to change. You grow without realizing it at first. You become more aware, more selective, more honest with yourself. Things you once accepted no longer feel right. People you once chased no longer matter the same way. Your focus shifts toward depth, truth, and authenticity. This change often happens quietly, and most people do not connect it to the person who entered their life. But it begins with them. Destined connections do not create obsession. They create reflection and self-growth. They leave their impact in the quiet areas of your life. You think of them not because of attachment alone, but because your inner self recognizes lessons that are still unfolding and growth that was activated through them. You notice these thoughts during self-reflection, emotional moments and quiet times when everything slows down. This is not dependency. It is integration, where their influence becomes part of your personal evolution. You learn things you did not know you needed to learn. Slowly, your life begins to shift in ways that prepare you for a deeper level of love and awareness. And yet, no one can truly replace a destined connection. People may try to move on, distract themselves, or convince themselves it is over, but something often feels missing, not because others are less, but because they do not trigger the same transformation. Destined love works on a different level. It is not about convenience or chemistry alone. It is about growth, evolution, and awakening parts of the self that ordinary relationships cannot reach. It cannot be rushed, copied, or replaced because its purpose is deeper than companionship. It exists to challenge and transform both individuals involved. While apart, destiny continues working quietly on both people. One learns boundaries, the other learns responsibility. One learns self-respect, the other learns emotional courage. One learns to stop chasing, the other learns to stop avoiding. Neither person sees the full picture at the time. That is intentional. The full understanding comes only after enough growth has taken place. This process is careful and necessary, ensuring that if the paths meet again, the connection is no longer unstable or confused, but grounded and real. Before reunion, illusions are removed. False beliefs about love are broken down. Ideas like love should never be difficult or that someone who cares will never leave are slowly dismantled. These beliefs prevent real connection. Destiny removes them even if it feels painful. Every tear, every moment of longing, every emotional ache becomes part of this process. Real love is not built on need or fear. It is built on awareness, choice, and growth. True love is choosing someone freely when you are already whole, not when you feel incomplete. At some point, you stop chasing love from fear. That is when destiny begins to move again. When both people become whole on their own, love becomes calm, conscious, and intentional instead of desperate or dependent. That is when alignment begins. If reunion happens, it feels different. There is less fear, less confusion, and more clarity. It is not perfect, but it is grounded and aware. Old patterns fade away. What remains is understanding and recognition. Even if reunion never happens, the connection still served its purpose. Not all destined relationships are meant to last forever. Some are meant to break patterns, awaken self-love, build emotional strength, or redirect life paths. Destiny often feels painful before it feels kind, because it prioritizes growth over comfort. It removes people before it allows attachment to destroy your sense of self. The final truth is simple. When two people are truly meant to be, they are first forced to grow separately. Illusions are stripped away, emotional wounds are faced, and both individuals are reshaped into stronger versions of themselves. Only after this process does destiny allow either reunion or redirection. But either way, no one comes out unchanged. If you are thinking about someone while hearing this, let these words settle within you. If it is meant, it returns with peace, not anxiety. If it is real destiny, it will never ask you to lose yourself, only to grow. And if it does not return, that is not loss, but guidance toward the version of yourself you are meant to become. Every separation, every moment of confusion, and every painful lesson is part of a larger journey. Destiny does not waste anything. It shapes, prepares, and elevates you so that when love arrives or changes direction, you are ready with a stronger heart. When two people are truly meant to be, life does not rush them. It first separates them and forces them to face themselves. The pain of separation is not punishment. It is part of the design. It pushes both people involved to face their fears, their inner insecurities, and the emotional wounds they have not healed yet. It builds emotional responsibility, self-respect, and the strength to love deeply without depending on another person for completeness. Every tear, every sense of longing, every moment where confusion takes over is part of this unseen process of shaping the self. Even in silence, even when there is no contact, growth is still happening in the background. You slowly become more selective, more aware, and more truthful with yourself. The lessons learned in these phases are not really about the other person. They are about your own inner world. A destined connection is never only about instant happiness or comfort. It is about personal evolution, about forming two individuals who are whole enough to sustain a deep, conscious, and real connection. When destiny allows a reunion, it does not feel chaotic or unstable anymore. It is no longer driven by insecurity or ego. Instead, the bond becomes calmer, clearer, and more intentional. And even if a reunion never takes place, the effect of the connection still stays within you in a deep way, guiding both people towards self-awareness and emotional maturity. Every separation, every heartbreak, and every lesson carries meaning. Nothing is wasted. It prepares you for a higher form of love that matches your personal growth. True destiny does not waste any experience. Every challenge is placed in your life to awaken strength inside you and to prepare you for what is meant for you. Destined love cannot be forced, rushed, or created by pressure. It appears quietly, often in ways that feel uncomfortable at first, because it is not about quick satisfaction. It is about transformation. The people who are meant to impact your life deeply will often challenge you, disturb your usual patterns, and reveal hidden parts of yourself that you may not even fully recognize. At times, you may feel unprepared for them. Life may even separate you from them, creating distance that feels painful and heavy. But that distance has meaning. It teaches patience, emotional independence, and honesty with yourself. You begin to notice how often you were searching for love outside rather than building it within. Slowly, you start moving toward inner wholeness. Every moment of missing them, every sleepless night, every thought about what could have been shapes you into someone who can hold real love in its highest form. True destined bonds do not create obsession, they create awareness. They make you reflect on your values, your emotional limits, and your ability to be open and vulnerable. You begin to want depth instead of distraction, meaning instead of temporary attention. Even if that person never comes back, the growth they triggered in you does not disappear. It remains and continues shaping your life. In this way, destiny feels both gentle and harsh. It removes comfort so clarity can appear. It removes illusions so truth can be seen. It challenges your heart so you can become emotionally complete. When destined people meet again after growth, the connection feels completely different. There is no chasing, no confusion, and no emotional games. Instead, there is a quiet understanding. Love becomes stable, conscious, and based on mutual growth. The anxiety that once controlled the connection is replaced with clarity and peace. Both individuals have changed during the time apart. They are now able to offer honesty, presence, and emotional stability without fear. This is the type of love that destiny prepares people for, not something temporary, but something that elevates both souls. If reunion never happens, that outcome is also part of destiny. It still serves a purpose. Some connections exist only to break old emotional cycles, awaken self-love, and teach deeper awareness. They are meaningful not because they last forever, but because they shape who you become. Their impact does not disappear. It stays within your decisions, your emotional responses, and your growth. Destined love is never about completing another person. It is about choosing each other freely from a place of emotional wholeness. It teaches you to stop escaping discomfort and stop relying on external validation. It forces self-reflection and emotional courage. It pushes both individuals to face their inner shadows and grow beyond them. Pain is not a punishment. It is a tool for transformation. Through it, you learn what real love requires: patience, awareness, emotional strength, and the willingness to grow even in loneliness or confusion. Every separation and every struggle is part of alignment. Destiny reshapes you, not for temporary comfort, but for a love that can last because it is built on awareness, growth, and conscious choice. These connections work on a deeper emotional level than most people realize. They are not about convenience or easy happiness. They exist to awaken parts of you that were dormant or ignored. When you meet someone who is truly destined for your growth, it feels like looking into a mirror. Everything you have avoided within yourself starts to appear clearly. This can feel intense because it forces truth into awareness. You begin to see your emotional patterns, your hidden fears, and the ways you may have limited your ability to love fully. The separation that follows such connections is not simple heartbreak. It goes deeper than that. It is not about one person being wrong. It is about growth being activated. The pain is showing you where healing is needed, where boundaries must be formed, and where self-respect must be strengthened. Every feeling of longing becomes part of your evolution. Every memory becomes a lesson guiding you toward a stronger version of yourself. During separation, life slowly teaches patience, emotional strength, and self-awareness. You start observing your thoughts without distraction. You understand your needs more clearly. Things you once accepted no longer feel aligned. People you once chased no longer attract you the same way. You begin to want authenticity, emotional depth, and honesty instead of surface-level attention. Even if you do not realize it, this transformation is directly shaped by the connection. This is why destiny does not rush reunion. It waits until both individuals are ready to connect consciously without fear or dependency. Only then does alignment become possible again. Destiny is both precise and patient. It removes illusions first. It breaks beliefs that distort love, such as thinking love must be earned or that you are incomplete alone. These ideas are slowly dismantled because they block true connection. Only when two people are complete within themselves can they truly choose each other freely. Real love is not survival. It is conscious choice. When this understanding is reached, paths can merge again in a healthier way. Even if they do not merge again, the purpose has already been fulfilled. Every lesson, every emotional struggle, every moment of reflection has served to guide you toward your highest self. This type of love changes how you see relationships, yourself, and life in general. It builds emotional responsibility, courage, and authenticity. It pushes you to stop seeking validation from others and start building strength within yourself. It removes dependency and shallow desire, leaving space for real, conscious connection. If reunion happens, it feels calm, stable, and honest. If it does not, the experience still guides you toward growth, awareness, and the life you are meant to live. Every moment of confusion, every tear, and every feeling of longing has meaning. Nothing is wasted. Destiny ensures that every connection becomes part of your development. It may feel painful at first, but over time, it reveals its purpose. These connections are not ordinary. They touch deep parts of your emotional core and force transformation. From the beginning, they act as triggers for self-discovery. You are pushed to face parts of yourself you may have ignored for years. This process is not easy. Separation often happens repeatedly, not as punishment, but as preparation. The absence you feel is not only about the other person, it reflects something within you that still needs healing. That is why the emotional pain feels deeper than normal heartbreak. It forces you into reflection and self-understanding. During this time, your views about love and relationships slowly change. You stop accepting patterns that do not match your growth. You begin to value emotional honesty more than attention without depth. Even in quiet moments, your mind processes lessons from the connection. This unseen growth shapes your emotional world in powerful ways. Destined love does not depend on need. It exists through choice. It becomes real when two people are complete within themselves and choose each other freely. The universe removes illusions like needing someone to feel whole or believing love must be earned. These ideas are replaced with emotional clarity and self-awareness. This process can feel difficult, even painful, but it is necessary. It builds emotional strength and the ability to love without fear or attachment. That is why destined love often feels difficult before it feels peaceful. It prioritizes your growth over your comfort. It may break emotional illusions first, but later it allows you to expand into a more conscious way of loving. When such a connection returns, it feels different. There is no desperation or confusion. The connection is calm, grounded, and aware. Both individuals are no longer the same as before.